Hey everyone, it's Carissa Wiley here for Pinkfresh Studio. Thanks for joining me today. Today I am sharing this Christmas card, which features a not so traditional Christmas color palette along with embossing with a stencil. So I'm starting out with some Bristol smooth cardstock and I'm cutting it to 3 by 5 3/4 inches. I am going to be making a mini slimline card today. And I'm going to be doing some ink blending on this panel, which is why I chose the Bristol Smooth cardstock. Now, you can definitely do this on plain white cardstock, but I find that I get really great results when I do ink blending with dye inks on Bristol Smooth. So I was just feeling it today. I felt like I didn't really want a challenge with the ink blending. So I went ahead and chose the Bristol Smooth, and I have 4 colors of Pinkfresh Studio inks here. I have the Candy Violet, the Soft Lilac, Ballet Slipper, and Sparkling Rose. And when I created this color palette, it was really inspired by a bag of coffee that I've been seeing at Starbucks. And it has this gradient from purple to pink, and it is absolutely beautiful. So I decided to recreate that today. Now, I'm going to tell you, if you are not looking at Starbucks for color inspiration, then you are missing out. Seriously, their marketing team has been knocking it out of the park with color combinations, and I have found so much inspiration in their marketing and their products recently. So I have ink blended my panel starting with the Candy Violet, moving to the Soft Lilac, into the Ballet Slipper, and finishing with the Sparkling Rose. And I felt like the purple needed a bit more intensity at the top, so I added just a touch of lavender. Now for my stamping today, I'm going to be using the Merry and Bright frame stamp and coordinating die set from Pinkfresh Studio. And I am starting out by inking up this sentiment. This is the Joy to the World sentiment, and I'm using the Pinkfresh Studio Licorice ink. Now I'm going to go ahead and double stamp this for 2 reasons. I didn't want a black sentiment. I knew that. This kind of pulls in an idea of silver, and it really fits with the cool tones of this card, but it's not black. Now the other reason I stamped it twice was because I had never used this stamp before, and I didn't get a great stamping the first time. So I went ahead and just re-inked and stamped again. And now I'm lining up the coordinating die, and I'm going to put that through my die cut machine, and I am left with this beautifully die cut sentiment. Now I'm also going to die cut the oval frame from this Merry and Bright die set, and I'm going to do some stamping on it. There is like this detail frame piece in the stamp set that I'm going to be using to stamp that oval frame piece. Now, in order to line it up correctly on my MISTI, I went ahead and put the negative space back into my mini MISTI, and I'm lining up my oval frame stamp with that opening. Then I am going to place my oval frame into that negative space, and I added the centerpiece too, just to keep this from moving around while I'm doing my stamping and my kind of powder tool and all that. And once I get that positioned in there, and if you wanted to, you could use a little bit of purple tape to kind of hold this in place on the back side. But once I get that positioned in there, I'm going to grab my powder tool and gently tap over the oval frame. I'm going to ink this stamp up in some Versamark ink, and then I am going to stamp onto the oval frame. Now, if I did not have my MISTI, I really don't know if I could accomplish this one. I probably could, but this made the process so much easier. And then I'm going to carefully remove that from that negative space, take it over to a coffee filter, add some gold embossing powder, and then I'm going to heat set that. And I have this beautiful stamped gold frame. There is so much delicate detail in this stamped image. It is absolutely beautiful. And I've seen people stamp it in white, do white embossing onto a red frame. It's absolutely gorgeous. Now, I've die cut some of the layered snowflakes from Pinkfresh Studio out of some plain Neenah Solar White cardstock, and I'm kind of just stacking 2 on top of each other. I know that these layered snowflakes were meant to stack on each other to give them more like volume and laciness. I don't know if particular snowflakes were designed to stack on other ones, but I went ahead and just cut 6 different snowflakes and I'm stacking them up. The top layer I'm kind of folding up, or zhuzhing as Laura Basson would say. And I'm just using a little bit of liquid adhesive to adhere the two snowflakes together. So I'll end up with 3 really full and lacy snowflakes. Now I'm going to start adhering all of these elements to this frame that I've created. And I'm using a mixture of liquid adhesive and foam adhesive. And in order to adhere this one, I wanted it kind of coming out from behind the sentiment. So I'm adding a little bit of liquid adhesive on the back side of my sentiment and then just adhering that snowflake. I kind of flip it around so I can see it from the front. I get the look that I'm going for. And then I can finish off this frame with these other 2 snowflakes. And these are absolutely beautiful. This is just plain white cardstock, folks. And they are so beautiful. Now, I've done a card project before where I've die cut them from some white glitter cardstock, and they are absolutely stunning that way as well. So I went ahead and ran that oval frame through my die cut machine again, this time using Vellum, and I'm going to just place that center part right in the center of my frame. And I do have some foam adhesive on the back side of that frame already, so it's ready to stick onto my card front. So now I have my ink blended panel here, and I have the inverted diamond stencil from Pinkfresh Studio. This is a slimline stencil, but I'm using it on my mini slimline card. And I am going to emboss this pattern onto my card front. So I'm just lining up my stencil where I think I want the pattern. I actually wanted that pattern to kind of come into that lower right-hand corner. So I'm kind of offsetting this just a little bit. And I'm using some purple tape to hold that in place. Now, in order to build my sandwich for the Gemini Junior, I'm going to start with my cutting plate. Then I'm going to add my rubber embossing mat. Then I have my stencil and my paper. And then I'm going to add the plastic shim, the magnetic shim, and the top cutting plate. And I'm going to send that through my Gemini Junior. And this is going to leave me with an emboss pattern onto this card front. I've just used a stencil, and you can see it kind of shifted down there, but I did get a great embossing on this. Now keep in mind, you can do this with other types of embossing machines as well. I have the Spellbinders Platinum 6, and I'm able to emboss with stencils in that machine as well. The sandwich is a little bit different, so check your manufacturer instructions. But you can see I have that great pattern on this ink blended background. And then all I have to do is add my frame onto the front of it, and it is absolutely beautiful. Now I'm adding some foam adhesive to the back of this card panel because I like big cards. I always say I like big cards, and I cannot lie. But if you want to kind of slim this down a little bit for mailing, you could skip some of the foam adhesive that I've added to this card and make it a little more flat. And I'm adhering this to a mini slimline card base. And this card measures 3¼ inches by 6 inches, I believe. That seems about right. And I will finish this all off with some Pinkfresh Studio jewels in this beautiful lavender color. I added those on with some liquid adhesive, and that finishes off my card today. Now, there are so many opportunities to add more sparkle today, but I kept it kind of on the subdued side as far as sparkle is concerned, especially for Carissa Wiley. I mean, Carissa loves sparkle. But there are so many opportunities to add more sparkle here. So if you wanted to add some shimmer spritz or something like that, that would absolutely be beautiful on this card as well. Now, as always, I will have links to the featured products used in this project in the description at YouTube. So if you're looking for something in particular, be sure you check there. It will all be linked below. And thank you so much for stopping by and hanging out with me today. I really hope you enjoyed this project. If you did, be sure to give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to the Pinkfresh Studio YouTube channel. We have lots of card making and paper crafting video tutorials here and so much inspiration. Thanks again for watching and hanging out with me today, and until next time, I hope you have a fabulous day.